Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a new episode in Conversation of Change series. Today, we have with us Prerna Prasad, founder and CEO at Ecoplore. After working for more than 8 years in prominent English news channels like CNN, IBN, and India Today, Prerna chose the path of entrepreneurship. Combining her love for travel and vision to create an environmental impact, she founded Ecoplore. Prerna is also the curator of Van Bhoj, a mud house based in Delhi NCR. Van Bhoj was built by architect Revathi and Vasanth Kamath and is a showcase of an ideal sustainable living. Prerna aims to invest all her income generated from Ecoplore in developing a forest and returning it back to nature. Welcome, Prerna. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Purnima, for such a comprehensive introduction.
All right. So with that, let's dive into the question, Prerna. So I would like to ask, what inspired you to transition from a successful career in journalism to founding Ecoplore and championing sustainable tourism?
So before starting Ecoplore, I was a journalist. I also was part of this India Against Corruption movement. So while working as a journalist and being a part of this anti-corruption movement, I realized that even if we have the best facilities and everything, but if we don't have fresh air and pure water, everything else is worthless. And today, when we are witnessing climate change on a day-to-day basis, we all can experience that. So I think that is what motivated me to do something in the field of environment. And I had actually, like, when I quit my last job, I had no plans about what I'm going to do next, but I was sure that I want to do something related to environment and travel. Like most people, I enjoyed a lot. So combining my love for travel and the motivation to work for environment, I started Ecoplore.
Thank you, Prerna, for sharing your very inspiring journey and story as well. It's very nice to also hear how your experiences in journalism have sort of fueled your passion towards this career in sustainable tourism. Thank you again. With that, I would also like to ask you, so Ecoplore's eco hotels are not only constructed from sustainable materials like mud, bamboo, and stone, but they also adhere to criteria such as 33% forest cover and offbeat locations that sort of offer a complete immersive experience, as per the research that we did about your hotel. So can you also discuss how these elements contribute to the broader goals of sustainable tourism, and what impact you envision them having on both environment and local communities as you expand Ecoplore's network?
So, like you said, how the local construction or houses made of mud, wood, bamboo, stone make a difference or an impact. If we talk about carbon emission, if we talk in that language, then the construction is the first major, it creates the maximum carbon emission if we talk from the tourism perspective. And if we notice any of the nature-based locations in India today, the popular locations like Shimla, Manali, Ooty, Mussoorie, all these places have been turned to concrete jungle. Like the trees and the mountains are very few or none, especially in these cities and towns, and it has been converted to a concrete structure, like you just see hotels and buildings made out of concrete. So the idea was that what is one major thing which differentiates the mainstream tourism, which is over tourism, exploitative tourism, which exploits nature, and on the other side, make tourism more sustainable, make it more balanced. So construction was something which we realized was a major factor. and mountain locations or beach locations, people just go there and build a concrete structure. So that, like, first of all, it doesn't merges into that environment. Second, that it creates pollution, and gradually, like, more and more people start coming, and then the trees are cut and they build buildings. So that's why construction for us was a very important aspect, and also important from the perspective of customer. So if I am a traveler and I have to differentiate between mainstream tourism and sustainable tourism or ecotourism, I can just visit the hotel. I can see the difference, that there is one hotel which is just made out of concrete and it doesn't have any greenery. There's other hotel which is made out of local building, which reduces the carbon emission, and it has a lot of greenery around it. So even from a customer perspective, we wanted to make it very easy to understand and differentiate, and people can spot the difference basically between a regular tourism and a sustainable tourism.
No, I mean that's really great to know. I mean, the points that you especially mentioned about construction being one of the major causes of emission, and for that matter, pollution as well in a lot of cases. So thanks for highlighting your very thoughtful approach behind Ecoplore's eco hotels, and the integration of natural elements as well as the offbeat locations. It, I think, truly sets Ecoplore in like creating a very promising sustainable tourism location. Uh, Okay, so with that, Prerna, your transition from journalism to now becoming an entrepreneur in the tourism sector must have presented with some sort of challenges as well. So I would like to know what are some of the biggest obstacles you faced, and how did your background in journalism help you navigate and overcome these hurdles, especially within the context of climate action?
So I don't come from a business background, or I've not even done an MBA, or no tourism, like no background or experience in tourism or even environment. So for me, everything was fresh. And I think that was a very positive aspect also, because I learned everything while working on my project, on my company, Ecoplore. So and also how journalism, I mean, helped me or supported me in my journey as an entrepreneurship was that every hotel we add on our platform, we see these two major aspects. One is the local construction, the other is at least 30% tree coverage. So and we visit any destination before onboarding on our platform. So I personally visited almost 300 different destinations and hotels in different locations to onboard them on Ecoplore. And when I was visiting those hotels, I was like a investigative journalist because I was just like asking questions. Every owner of a hotel or a manager, I used to spend at least half an hour, 1 hour time with them in person and ask them all kind of questions related to sustainability and about their passion, like how genuine they are. So I think there my skill as a journalist created a lot of support, because I could do that investigation and understand the genuineness of a property. And second, communication skill is something which is very basic to any field or industry. So that communication skill which I had because of journalism made a lot of difference to being an entrepreneur.
No, it's very interesting to also know how your investigative journalism skills sort of helped you translate into this really effective strategy for at being an entrepreneur. Thank you for sharing that, Prerna. While eco hotels are designed with sustainability in mind, we also know that the behavior of travelers or tourists play a very crucial role in maintaining the integrity of these properties. So, in your opinion, how can these travelers ensure that they respect and preserve these eco-friendly accommodations? Additionally, what strategies can we encourage these travelers to adopt towards a more sustainable towards having more sustainable behaviors during these stays?
So when we started, we actually spent almost 4 years to just create awareness about what exactly is sustainable tourism. We used to talk about rainwater harvesting, composting, solar panels, and a lot of other sustainable measures which our hotels practiced. So the idea was that when people visit these hotels, there's this subtle learning. Like, for example, we have a property in Jim Corbett where the place where they serve water, like there's a water cooler kind of thing, and then they have note written over there that please use water carefully. So that I'm talking in just very straight language, but they have beautiful lines like that. A lot of these properties have those small nuances and reminders uh, to at least subtly create a mindset of moving towards sustainable lifestyle. And before COVID, we actually spent almost half an hour on every customer to explain what a mud house is, how our mud house is comfortable. People had a lot of misconceptions, like if we are staying in a mud house, it would be leaking or it won't be very comfortable. It may not have a Western commode. So that was pre-COVID. Post-COVID, a lot of things became different, and it was way easier for us to make people book eco-friendly hotels and shift from the traditional construction buildings. So post-COVID, I think our people by default got that, like that awareness within the masses is gradually increasing, and especially nowadays when we all are suffering from climate change issues. The heat wave is so much everywhere. So people now have realized that they need to change their choices and make a shift. And I think that is what motivated us and supported us in growing and getting more customers.
Thank you. Thanks, Prerna, for actually talking about these aspects. I think it's clear to also, to also sort of educate folks that are traveling to these offbeat locations. And for that matter, you're right, with the kind of climate that we are all dealing with. I think that self-awareness is very inevitable. Or you're supposed to have that. So yeah, thanks for highlighting those parts. With that, Prerna, so we also read about Ecoplore's recognition by UNEP for fulfilling SDG 12, which highlights its dedication to sustainability. So how does this acknowledgement reinforce your platform's missions and goals? And how do you envision leveraging this recognition to further advance climate action and sustainable tourism initiatives?
So in 2019, somebody from UNEP reached out to us, and they did an interview and asked about our project and what we are doing. So that, of course, like it adds a lot of credibility to your concept. And post that also, we have been getting on a regular level different recognitions. We have awarded we received this Outlook Responsible Tourism Award for promoting one of the best eco-friendly homestays. So like that, there were a lot of other recognitions, and I think that adds to the credibility. A lot of people, because it's a different concept, it's not like well established yet. It is still on that journey of getting established. So these recognitions give more validation to customers to choose us. And I think that is where it has been very helpful for us.
No, that's actually very right. I mean, Ecoplore's dedication to this particular SDG goal and also being recognized at such a high level sort of also expands your initiatives, and I think it also gives more chance for collaborations. Prerna, is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It helps in multiple ways.
Right. Yeah, no, that's clear, and it also I think makes a very significant impact in setting a benchmark, like you said, for others in the industry. So thank you for talking about it.
And also, like even this UNEP helped us in becoming a part of this Sunex Malta. It is a association of sustainable hotels and sustainable travel companies, and it's led by president of UNWTO, United Nations World Tourism Organization. So of course, like this tag of being recognized by UNEP helped us in a lot of other associations and collaborations.
Yeah, that's very interesting to know, Prerna. Thank you for talking about it. I'm sure our audience would also get like a lot of insights out of this. With that, I have two questions from you before we come to the end of this session. So, how do you envision young professionals contributing to this sector, or to these efforts of sustainable tourism? And what opportunities do you foresee for Ecoplore and other eco hotels to collaborate and innovate for a more sustainable future?
For youngsters, especially those who are still in school and college, um, they they will be the worst victim of climate change. Honestly, like we still have access to some fresh water, waterfalls, rivers, and forests. But the generation after us will be suffering a lot. So because of that, by default, they have this innate awareness. They are more aware, they are more conscious. They are the shift in lifestyle is more in them. So whatever it was, they have, since they have no options, so that they have to have a sustainable lifestyle to fight against climate change. That is something which has come automatically because of the kind of climate change we are experiencing. And even like from the existing people, like people who are in their 40s, 50s, or they also are now thinking, and they're making more conscious choices in their in all their lifestyle, and tourism is one part of it. And I think that is very, very necessary, and there's no option. Like they say that there's no planet B, so there is no option. You have to choose a sustainable lifestyle and move towards sustainable living in all aspects of life, including the tourism. And especially in tourism, it is much more required, because if you want to experience a waterfall maybe 10 years later, you have to save it, conserve it without littering. Only then your kids or the next generation will be able to experience it. Otherwise, if you just think that today we want to have we want to have all the fun, we want to just enjoy it without having this mindset of conserving yet enjoying, I think that is it is unavoidable. Like if you don't think of conserving the existing natural resources, the forest and the waterfalls and rivers, then 10 years later they'll be like almost negligible, left for the next generation to consume and enjoy.
Yeah, no, that's I mean the fact about conserving, I think that really resonates with me. It's very, very crucial to do that. And you're actually right, the generations to come are going to bear the brunt of the current escalating climate. So thanks for actually highlighting so many different dimensions and aspects to this. If I could just also ask you, what do you think would be the career opportunities that these young professionals could take to be a part of sustainable tourism? If you could just share some of those.
So, if we talk about the industry of sustainability today, like all mainstream industries are shifting to becoming sustainable, whether they are doing greenwashing or they are actually following it, that's a different question altogether. But nobody can avoid sustainability today. And for younger generations, I think more than 50% of the occupation or profession they are choosing will have an element of sustainability in it. And even the entrepreneurs, like the new startups which you see, has like some sustainable element in it. There are a lot of sustainable startups which are happening these days. And especially in the West, there is more prominence being given to impact-based startup. And any impact-based startup having impact on either like social causes like health, education, poverty, or all those things, will also have to add a sustainable element to it. So, and if we talk about tourism, although sustainable tourism is still in their nascent stage, people still want to go to the mountains and just party and come back. But there is a gradual shift which is happening in the mindset of the consumers, because they have realized that if we do not, if we just go on littering the environment without being mindful of it, there will be nothing left. So that's not a question of choice. It has now become a question of like by default you have to be sustainable. So even in tourism sector now the things are changing towards better, and I hope like it will happen faster and faster.
No, thank you. Thanks for talking about those aspects. It's very, yeah, you're right. It's very important that wherever you travel, you sort of also follow the rules, and so not tamper or harm the people that are staying there or just sort of spoil their peace. So to have that sort of mindfulness is very important. And with that, what opportunities do you also foresee for Ecoplore and other eco hotels to collaborate and innovate for a more sustainable future?
So on a daily basis, like around post-COVID, we receive at least one call a day saying that we want to create a hotel which is sustainable, or we want to make a hotel out of mud, or we want to create ecotourism. So I think 6-7 years back, we hardly had people coming and saying that we want to build a mud house instead of a concrete bungalow. But today that thought process has changed, and it is changing for better. So even in tourism industry now, people who are little aware, they are shifting towards making a mud house or a local architecture building instead of a typical concrete structure. So that change is happening, and even at Ecoplore, we have shifted to doing construction also. So we have partnership with India's leading sustainable architect company, Kamath Design Studio, and Van Bhoj is like we partnered through Van Bhoj. So people are now have moving towards getting like local architecture constructed, and Van Bhoj here has played a very important role for us because it like the background which you see is of Van Bhoj only, and people like we have opened it for people for day visits where they can come and experience how living in a mud architecture is. And even today when Delhi has 50-degree temperature, there is at least direct shift of 10-degree temperature less inside the house. So this like it sets an example that if we actually follow the right measures, we can fight against climate change. But it's just about what kind of measures you are adopting. And Van Bhoj is a very good example of it. We are just located in Delhi NCR. It's on Delhi, Gurgaon, Faridabad border, and surrounded by high rises. But a small patch of 1.5, 1.8 acre forest creates a lot of biodiversity. So within our forest, we have peacocks, porcupines, mongoose, neelkant, hornbill, woodpeckers, and a lot of other birds and wildlife. And all this is in Delhi, where we just see pigeons in the name of wildlife. So if we follow the right practices, it is possible to mitigate climate change.
Thank you so much, Prerna, for highlighting this. I mean, the way you were describing Van Bhoj and its surroundings, the visual imagery in itself was just so pleasant to think about. And you're right. Now there's that shift in thinking. There's also this forward thinking that has come in, and I'm sure if people adopt those measures very judiciously, and it's definitely going to create a change, and we can fight climate change. So thanks for giving that ray of hope as well. Uh, Thank you once again for being a part of our episode today and for sharing such insightful stories and different opportunities within the sustainable tourism sector. Thank you once again, Prerna.
No, thank you so much for inviting us. And I hope there is that shift in sustainable mindset happening. It should happen more and more fast so that we can fight climate change.
Definitely. Totally agreed on that. Thanks a lot, Prerna.
Thank you. Thank you so much.